How's it going, my rainbow jimmies? It's James, aka Lil J, and I am here today to talk about my first time coming out and what that was like and what that experience was like. And it's my first time because I've actually come out twice. The first time when I came out as gay, and then the second time when I came out as trans. So this time I'm only focusing on the first one because otherwise this video would be way too long and one topic at a time. So, when I started to realize okay, this is a thing, people, girls like girls, boys like boys, all that kind of stuff. I never really thought about it with myself. I just thought about it okay, that's how other people are. Sure. It doesn't matter to me. Everyone is happy. That's cool. And it wasn't until my sophomore year of high school when I was in my English class and I realized there was this girl who sat next to me, and she was so cute, and she was really sweet and funny and kind, and she was everything. She was the best. And I don't want to be really creepy because she doesn't know that all of this, but it got me thinking about oh, what would happen if she asked me on a date? I started to think, oh yeah. Oh, and this was before I identified as male, so that's why it's I don't know how to really discuss this when it's now I identify as male, so it would be boys, but back then when I identified as female, I found out that I thought girls were attractive and that I could go out with a girl and like a girl physically and romantically and all that stuff. So it was all kind of because of this one girl, but I feel a lot of people had the one person that kind of sets it off where you're do I like girls? So that just got me thinking about the whole thing, and then I discussed it with people. I figured everything out, and I eventually came to the conclusion that I am at first I identified as bisexual, but then I figured out I identify more as pansexual because I like everyone. And I feel one thing is that people are a little bit confused on the whole what pansexual actually means. And it's essentially just I can like all these different people regardless of gender identity, sexual identity, any of that. That stuff doesn't matter when it comes to whether or not I like someone. The stuff that does matter is personality, and if they're nice, if they're funny, if they're a kind person. That stuff matters, but not what's on the outside or how they identify themselves. So that's what pansexual means to me, at least, is that I like everyone. Even though I figured all this out my sophomore year, I didn't come out then because I didn't really know how to. I didn't know how to handle the whole thing. And I wasn't really dating anyone at that time. I was with one girl for a week, but, it never turned into anything where I felt I should, tell my parents or anything. My junior year, though, I actually did date someone for a while that, I felt sometimes that there were a few times during that whole period of dating that person that I should tell my parents that I like everyone, because because this person identifies as non-binary. So I felt I should tell my family, but I just I was so nervous about it. Fast forward to junior year and like kind of late junior year of high school. I started this program that was essentially a therapy type program. I'm not going to get too detailed into it because it's kind of confusing and I don't want, to confuse people and have too much information. But essentially what ended up happening is that this program was just a place where you could talk about stuff and do all that kind of talking and figuring things out. And people realized that I was feeling very conflicted about my family not knowing. I felt like, not that I was keeping something from them. I mean, like I was keeping something from them, but it wasn't that I felt like I was keeping a secret or that I felt like I wasn't being honest with them. It was more just I felt like I wanted them to know. I wanted it off of my chest so that they knew and I didn't have to worry about it. So people convinced me to make my goal for the day to come out to my mom because we planned that the drive home from this program was 20 to 30 minutes long. Like it was a good drive. And that if I came out then, my family couldn't, or my mom couldn't, like, not that she would have, but that she's kind of in a way stuck where we have to talk it through and there's really no other alternative. I can't escape away and neither can she. So I was so nervous and I don't really know why, because I knew my family was accepting. I knew my family loved me no matter what. Like I knew all this stuff and yet I was terrified. I was terrified to tell my mom like, hey, I like girls, guys, and everything in between. Like I was just so scared to do it. But I just, took a deep breath and I said, hey Mom, I want to tell you something. And I came out with it. When I said I'm pansexual, I think my mom was a little confused because she didn't know what that word meant and maybe got a little bit, I don't want to say nervous, but maybe got a little bit like, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't want to date? Does that mean this or that? Like, I could tell, So I explained it to her, and then after that, it was pretty much where my mom just kind of went like, okay. And I'm really lucky that my coming out was pretty smooth. The only thing that happened was me being nervous, like that was it. And that it was like smooth, it was easy, and that my family was accepting. Not everyone has that. And that stinks. Because it's not really fair that some people have, families that it's like, oh, I can never tell my family because my family would kick me out of the house or something. And I know how lucky I am that my family was so accepting and all that stuff. I don't think I ever really came out to my dad. I think my mom probably told him. It wasn't perfect because both my parents weren't in the car. It was just my one. But definitely I think the separating them or, just talking to one parent was maybe easier than talking to both of them at once. Because if you talk to them separately, like, yes, you might have to end up like coming out twice. But just being able to have a one-on-one conversation with one of my parents about the whole thing, I feel like made it easier because it was just me and my mom, figuring it out, talking it out, all that stuff. And I think that really made it go okay. And yeah, and having my mom in a place where she can't, where the only option is to talk to me about it, like that I think made it better, because it made it more, we are going to talk about it, and it's important to talk about it and not to just say it and then like leave. And ever since then, my family's been pretty, no problem with it. It's been going well. Yeah, so that's my coming out story. It's not like super exciting or anything, but luckily for me, I have one of the smoother coming out stories where, things didn't go wrong or anything like that. So I really lucked out on that. If anyone has any suggestions on what I could talk about in my next video, I would love to hear suggestions. I would love if people had questions, if people had just things they want to know my opinion on. Like, I don't know, I'm new to all of this. I don't really know what to talk about. Like, there's a million things I can talk about, but I don't know if people want to hear it. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for people who are supporting me when I'm, just kind of starting out. It really means a lot. And yeah. So, my little Jimmies, I will see you guys next time. See you later, my Jimmies. Bye.